Hello and welcome to the daily crypto market review. Starting with the Bitcoin price action. From previous days, we were expecting Bitcoin to break down or break above this channel, and it eventually did break down as we were expecting and discussed in the previous market updates. However, we were stuck in this channel for quite a long time, starting from 12th of May, followed that was from that was due to a crash, especially because of Terra Luna collapse in the market. Then after that we break down this channel followed by a few bull traps which everyone was expecting Bitcoin is going again up, and I kept on repeating there is no time to be bullish right now and Bitcoin will break down, and it eventually break down. Now we are running in this channel and I expect Bitcoin will continue to move sideways. There are certain factors and economic uncertainties I would like to discuss in this video that I expect, which are the reasons I am still bearish on the Bitcoin, and I think you should not start buying the altcoin bags right now. Even if Bitcoin starts to move up and eventually reaches $25,000, we have this strong resistance area. This area that was our support is now our strong resistance. You might have been seeing the strength of this support for quite a while, that Bitcoin was finding it very difficult to break down because of the mining cost of one Bitcoin is ranging between $32,000 to $28,000, and this was the strong support for Bitcoin. Right now we are at the weekly moving average 200 moving average support. This is also a very strong support, and in this video I'll be discussing in the later part of the video the long-term price action of Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin really going to $18,000 or $16,000 or worse, below $10,000? There are certain factors that are very important to discuss and are in play right now, which the stock markets are eventually following, as discussed previously as well. Moving on towards Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has been bearish, which is not a sign of bullishness for the market. And I have told you many times that this is because the altcoins, the big whales and the exchanges, they have investment in the altcoin, and they wanted to push down the Bitcoin dominance due to the reason so that we can see the pump in the altcoins, and everyone, especially the retail traders, and almost 90% of the retail traders eventually lose money. And in such market condition where you can see there is liquidation hunt and everyone is trying to recover their losses, mostly using the leverage trading, and heavily get dragged right now. If you want to see how to recover your losses in the bear market, you can click on the video on the top left corner. Moving back to the video, we are seeing that Bitcoin dominance is breaking down, and it's breaking down really heavily. Eventually I expect it would go down to 44% as well if the whales have not eventually exited their altcoins. What I mean by saying this is that whales need to exit their altcoins, therefore they are pumping the altcoins deliberately. However, the situation in the market is worse and the altcoins should be dumping really hard right now, and this is definitely a fake pump, and I will prove you in this video only. Moving on towards the total market capital of the cryptocurrency, we have seen that the total market capital continues to break the supports. Eventually the $1.2 trillion support, then $1.1 trillion, and now we are at this last strong support of $874 billion dollars. If I even see the weekly moving average, we are just on the support of the 200 weekly moving average, similar to the Bitcoin situation right now, as Bitcoin is also at the support of 200 weekly moving average, and this is the last strong support usually the bear market holds. If it is held, then we can see a quick recovery, but right now we are observing no quick bounce or strong price action towards the upside, and I'm still extremely bearish considering the factors which we'll be discussing in this video. Moving on towards Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is still apparently bearish, and it also has broken down all of the supports which I draw, and is still in the continuation of the channel which I draw for the long-term perspective. If we see on the daily time frame as well, Ethereum formed a head and shoulders pattern, although it was unsymmetric, but right now what matters is it is following it. Technically Ethereum has to bottom around $900 to $700, but let's hope that level holds. Otherwise there is nothing very appealing below that level. Even if Ethereum goes to $600 or $500, that wouldn't be very appealing, and there is a lot of ecosystem, DeFi ecosystem tied to Ethereum, such as the NFT market, the play to earn games. They all will be collapsing one by one. So that is what I expect Ethereum to be doing in the next few weeks or even months. Since we talk here for the long term perspective, we are not day traders, or mostly if even you are day trader, you need to keep the macro perspective in your mind that anything can happen anytime. If we move towards the stock market, since the stock market has opened and we have seen the continuation of downfall of the stock market, moving towards the Nasdaq continues to downfall and is approximately at 271 points after rejecting the 313 points, and it continues its strong downward motion after the Fed increased the interest rates by 75 basis points. Although the market was expecting it would be 50 basis points, but right now they are increasing the interest rates considering the high inflation as 75 basis points, and the market doesn't really like this. It is extremely bearish for the market, and the market started to dump yesterday. This was a fake pump, this was a fake pump, and this was a fake pump for Dow Jones and S&P 500 as well. And now I expect the market would continue to downfall for the stocks as well as the Bitcoin. But right now we have seen the stocks are continuously falling. Even if we talk about today, the stocks are even lower as compared to yesterday, while Bitcoin is holding, not lower, holding compared to its yesterday's price action. If we see Bitcoin, Bitcoin's lows yesterday was approximately $20,850. However, it's, or even if you see yesterday's low, it was $20,107, and today's price is right now at $21,000. So there is no point of Bitcoin being at this higher price. Bitcoin usually follows stocks, and eventually it is far more volatile than the stocks right now. Then it technically it should be lower than yesterday's lows. As we see, the stocks are lower even than the yesterday's low after the Fed meetings especially. However, the crypto market is greatly influenced by the whales and the exchanges. They are on liquidation hunts. They want you to take long entries and then liquidate you. They want you to take short entries and then liquidate you. So you need to be very careful with the leverage trading, as we already discussed in the video. If you really want to recover your losses, then you should quit leverage trading, at least for the time being, if you really love your money and don't want to donate it to the exchanges or these whales. Moving on towards the dollar currency index, the dollar currency index had reached my target of 105.5, and then it is rapidly falling. Right now, this is the only indicator I found out that is holding on Bitcoin around $20,000, 21,000 or $20,000 range. However, if the dollar currency index bounced from this line once again upside, this would be an extreme bearish signal for the Bitcoin to move downside, which I expect would be happening anytime soon as the dollar currency index hits this trend line once again. So overall, I am still bearish on the Bitcoin, and there is no bottom signal right now observed. Moving on towards the coin market capital statistics, you can see that our third, fourth, and sixth biggest cryptocurrencies are right now stable coins, and you can see how large capital are they backed by right now, as the whole market is in fear. One more important thing you need to consider, as the Tether is not doing very well right now, and anytime anything could happen, I wouldn't recommend you to keep your money in Tether at all, as there are certain statistics I was studying today and came across that the market is losing trust for Tether, and eventually many of the big whales that manipulate the market are ready to crush Tether. And you can see in the coming days that if this happens, the crypto market would take a really ugly move right downside. And even if you see there are 19,000 cryptocurrencies in the market right now, it would be a very big thing that even 1,000 of these survive. Of course, I would say Bitcoin will survive, Ethereum will survive, and many big altcoins which I can say that have strong fundamentals and don't have some Ponzi scheme like a model, they would eventually survive and eventually make a new all-time high in the coming years, not even months or even weeks. Moving on towards the news, the federal interest rate decision was total 1.75%. However, the forecasted rate was 1.5. If the actual percentage increase by the Fed is greater than the forecasted rate, then the market is actually bearish, and you can see it in the stocks. Why Bitcoin has not followed right now? As I mentioned, it is heavily manipulated, and Bitcoin should eventually break this $20,000 support in upcoming days or weeks. Moving on towards the Celsius situation, Celsius is another time bomb, and Celsius is still not allowing the users to access their account or withdraw their fund, as it is using users' funds to illegally, or you can say legally, add collateral to their interest to their interest and the loans taken from different parties right now. If you can see Bitboy or Ben Armstrong, you might be knowing by the name of Bitboy Crypto, he is claiming that he will file a lawsuit against Celsius as they are going extremely against the interest of the users, as their users are not able to access their funds. And he claimed that he has his own funds right now in that. So that is also a big question mark for the decentralized nature of these platforms, that you shouldn't always put a lot of money in these platforms looking at the juicy yields they are offering. It is always risky. You should always keep your cryptos in your personal wallets if you are not actively trading. And even I would recommend you to keep your money in the only trading money on big exchanges, as if the market takes a downtrend, these small exchanges will eventually be crushed, and most oftenly they would even go bankrupt. Anything could happen, so always rely on the bigger exchanges for time being. Right now the market situation is not really favorable for the cryptocurrency business overall. As you may have seen that the many cryptocurrency companies are firing their employees, so their financial situations are not really well or as they show it. Another extremely bearish thing I need to show you, that there in the past few days the crypto influencers were shouting that the Bitcoin miners are still holding strong and they are keeping their reserve, they are selling nothing at this price. Well, guess what? It changed today, or even from the start of May, the miners are sending their Bitcoins to exchanges and eventually selling them. We just saw an inflow of 60,000 Bitcoins in the month of June enter into the exchanges. That is a huge number, and if they, along with Celsius, who also send 9,500 bitcoins to the exchanges, start to sell, then you can eventually easily see the crush of the Bitcoin support around $20,000. And what would be the next support for Bitcoin? That is what we are discussing right now. So I have opened the Bitcoin weekly chart and I'll be performing the analysis right now. If we see the Gaussian channel usually represents the downfall of Bitcoin or the bear market scenario and the situation which we are right now. We are on the Bitcoin weekly chart. If we move on towards the bear market of 2018, as the Bitcoin crossed this Gaussian channel, we see that this is the red region, which indicates that we are in the bear market for quite a while. And guess what? We have just started to enter this red region. And I don't think so this is going to end anytime soon. As you can see, it continues for a time and then we see the parabolic move upside down. But right now the situation is not only limited to cryptocurrency market, it is starting from the stock exchange, the large economy giants such as the United States, China, Russia, Taiwan, and these all countries are not in great economic situation. So I don't expect cryptocurrency to recover anytime soon, even in this year or even in the upcoming years, looking at the situation and the global economic factors right now. What can be the next big support for Bitcoin? Looking onto the charts, we can see that we have a strong support around the 19,000 to 18,000 region, and then the next strong support around 10,000 to 9,000 region, and after that the next strong support is around $6,000. I'm not claiming that Bitcoin will reach there as fast as you can think, but it can anything can happen at right now market. In the market, if the miners start to sell the bitcoins they have transferred to exchanges, let me tell you, it costs a lot of money to transfer the bitcoin from wallet to exchanges. So it's the miners are already in loss, so they wouldn't be doing a publicity stunt or just to show that you should sell your bitcoin so that they can buy more. However, they really mean it, and I think they would start to sell as soon as we see a increase in price and they think it reasonable for them to sell their bitcoins.